So one of our own, another true crime sleuth creator here on YouTube, is finding herself in the same position as so many other victims' families. As always, well, let's take care of business first before we get into the case. Disclaimer! Everything in this video and all other videos and every case on this channel is for entertainment purposes only, not based on fact. It is just my opinion, my interpretation of the cards. I encourage each and every one of you to do your own research and form your own opinion. After all, I'm just a blonde throwing cards. Okay, this is the case of Brandon Clark, who had gone missing on February 17th, 2024. He is the cousin of official LEB. I will have a link to her channel, and I will put a link to the live that she did about her cousin in the description box below. And before I go any further, for those of you who do have video ideas or things that you'd like to see me cover, please do not leave them in the comments. They get lost, they get forgotten about. Go to my website at mysticjenn.com. There is a form right on the front page for you to submit your video requests. And also, if you would like a private reading from me, shameless plug, on my website, I have a variety of types of readings, whether you want to book an appointment with me or if you would like a YouTube recorded reading. All that information is on my website. Now, today's case. Okay, Brandon Clark. He was due to turn 40, or he will be turning 40 on March 25th, I believe it is. Ellie put her video out yesterday and said 20 days, and I asked my device that sometimes I ask over here, and it said, like, today would be 19 days, would be the 25th of March. He was last seen on February 17th, 2024, in Shreveport, Bossier area of Louisiana. And basically he went to work, and he worked at it was called something else before, but it's now called Brookshire Grocery Arena. It's basically a place where they put all kinds of big show entertainments, rodeos, concerts, all kinds of things there. He was part of the setup and teardown crew. Okay, sometimes he would work late. And Brandon did have some issues. He was a recovering drug addict, and he had some mental health issues as well that he was on medication for. Brandon went through rehab, and he was doing very well. He was living in a halfway house. But the night that he disappeared, apparently, I don't know if it was the day before or the night before, there was an event. He came home, and he would do this quite often. Now, these halfway houses, they do have curfews, but Brandon had permission to stay out past curfew because he was working and for his job. He would come in pretty late at night, between 1 2 a.m. And usually, he's a man. He gets hungry. Men get hungry, especially after they've worked. My son's no different. Sometimes he comes home at midnight or so and, Mom, can you pop a pizza in? Or if I'm sleeping, he'll go ahead and do it himself or make himself some corn dogs or whatever. Bagel bites. He'll make something to snack on or, munch on before he goes to sleep or as he's relaxing. And from the vibe I get, I think that Brandon is no different. So he would do that, and I think that there were some jealous people, other jealous guys in that halfway house. Why does Brandon get to come in late past curfew? And in addition to that, I guess he made a little bit of noise when he was fixing food, disturbing others. There was a confrontation between him and one or more residents there at the halfway house. And it escalated. It got nasty. I don't know if it got physical or if it was just verbal. But he decided he got permission to leave the halfway house. He went to check out a hotel, the Economy Inn. He went there, but then he wanted to book additional nights for like Saturday night and Sunday night, and the Economy Inn was like, there's no room at the inn, so they did not have any openings for those 2 nights. So Brandon was kind of forced to book a hotel, which he did. It was another hotel. I don't know the name of it offhand. Starts with an O. In that area, just so that, and he paid with his credit card. But the problem is, Brandon never showed up for his reservation. As I said, he was last seen that Saturday night. Another cousin of theirs was at the arena I think it was a rodeo that night. Showed up and even talked to Brandon. And she said it didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing seemed off with him. He seemed fine. And she was actually the last relative to speak with him. But during his shift, during his break or lunch, he would call his mother. And that was the one thing he was really good about. He stayed in touch with his mom. Every day, he'd be calling his mom, checking in. Whether everything was okay or if there was an issue, he would just check in with his mom. And then, but that night, let me see, Saturday night, yeah, okay. And apparently, that last night that he was seen, and he did this quite often, when his boss would be leaving, he would walk out with his boss as his boss locked everything up. And he made a call to his mom and said, well, I may walk to the hotel. It's not that far. And Mom was like, no, get an Uber. So he went ahead and he called for an Uber. That was the last thing that the boss knew because the boss had left. And when the boss left, Brandon was standing in front of the arena waiting on the Uber. Now, did the Uber actually arrive and pick Brandon up? We don't know. But we know he never made it to the hotel. And during that process, there was a voicemail left. I think it was for the mom. Really odd. In the beginning of the voicemail, it was saying, if you would like to continue your call, please stay on the line. I don't know if he was trying to call collect or what he was doing, but it went into voicemail. And the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of this voicemail was dead silence. At the very end, there was a sudden sound of rustling, real quick, and then some kind of yelp. I don't know. They don't know. It's hard to tell if he's saying help or what he's saying, but according to Ellie, it was clearly Brandon's voice, and that was the last thing that was ever heard from him. So, yeah, my hair's funky. I was out in the rain. Sorry. And it's kind of bugging me. But anyhow, so the family went to the police. The police aren't doing jack shit, let me tell you. They're not prioritizing it. They're saying, well, this sounds like an adult. He's an adult person. Doesn't want to be found. Considering his mental illness, his drug addictions, maybe he backslid and he got some drugs and he's embarrassed and he doesn't want anybody to know and he's hiding. And so they didn't take it seriously at all. And as far as any records, like the hotel couldn't tell them anything. Obviously, credit card companies aren't, because the credit card's in his name, bank account's in his name, phone bill's in his name. Whether they were supposed to do this or not, they were trying to figure out his PIN numbers and stuff to see if they could check, because the police aren't doing shit. And the parents were at the police station every single day. And finally, the police is telling them, you could go away. We'll call you if anything comes up. They said, I guess they originally told him we'll ping his phone. The next day, they go in and ask, did you ping his phone? No, not yet. We got to wait on paperwork. Blah, 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 blah. And they go, and again, he says, oh, don't come back. We'll call you if anything comes up. So the police aren't doing shit. And so I decided to cover this case for this fellowette creator, who also does true crime. And I mean, she even made a comment in her live that she does true crime. She never thought she would have to do true crime for one of her own family members. Don't a lot of people say that? I think every single missing person, every single missing child, I think everybody says that. Or every unaliving that happens. The family's members saying, yes, we hear this kind of stuff on the news all the time. Never thought it would happen to us. So nobody's immune to this stuff. I could go out and go down the hill to the grocery store and get abducted. No, I am not trying to manifest that. I'm just using that as an example. Somebody could go out to Walmart. It happens at Walmart. Somebody, it's be very innocent. It happens all the time. People leaving work, kids leaving school, or on their way to school. Shit happens. Including another case that I want to get to, but I felt this was more important. I'm not saying that more important, but more like I wanted to get this out there for this creator. So, now at this point, mental note, timestamp. I will timestamp where the tarot reading begins. I wanted to give you a little bit of basic background. I didn't dive too deep into this. Like I said, I will have appropriate links in the description box if you want to go view Ellie's actual live when she was talking about her missing cousin. So, we're going to switch camera views to a point. Going to back things up. And we're going to get to the cards. Okay, let's get into this. I want to get a Major Arcana card for his energy currently, or the energy surrounding his disappearance. Oh, this is just a title card. Sorry about that. Had no information. It's almost like that could be a sign of there's nothing, no information right now. There's we got the Tower, folks. Something sudden, something unexpected, something definitely altering. Not exactly what I was hoping to see. So there is something that was torn down that could be a, if you go listen to that other video, the one that's linked, the actual live, in there is like a yell or something like that. Definitely sounds panicked. So this feels, I want to say, almost like a surprise attack. Field, I don't know. That was on the bottom of this deck, and it was just drawing my attention. I don't know if you could see that or not, but it says field. Kind of drawing my attention. We'll see if it comes back up. I just saw the stalker card. It's like with somebody watching him, somebody stalking him that night. Dealing with drugs, because I got toxic on the cut too. Like, did somebody think he had something or something like that? It is a good possibility. Drugs at a certain dwelling, at a certain house. Okay. So, let's just take a look. Okay. Ellie, if you watch this video, I know that you've been through this, where information comes out. Don't really want to deliver it, but I got laid to rest, buried, grave. Inside structure, attic, basement, crawl space. He could be buried in something. He could be in, I don't know how they fit him in a box, but he could be the grave, the buried. There could be shit on top of him, hidden. It kind of reminds me of being hidden in a structure. And what's really standing out is basement. In the basement somewhere. And we got strangled. This is breathless, choking, and unaliving. I like digging into cases, but it's heart-wrenching when I get messages like this. Always like the hope that they're just going to come waltzing through the door and say, I needed a timeout, I needed a break, I needed to be to myself. This is definitely screaming foul play. It's screaming foul play. Be curious if I get similar energy in this as far as what happened. I got two halves to this deck. My True Crime and Conspiracy Oracle deck. But I don't feel he's outside. I believe he's in somebody's, or he was left in the basement somewhere. It could simply be him being buried, as in under a house, as in a basement. Doesn't even have to be a house. It could be a commercial property. An abandoned building even. I'm saying that for a reason, because it's just what the energy I'm picking up on. And depressed areas, I know areas around me, they have a lot of vacant buildings. In my town, we even have a vacant, abandoned parking garage. So, and that's just kind of coming to me, wondering if there is some kind of, put my crystal ball right here so I could see it a little bit better. I do scry my crystal ball when I'm doing readings as well. And I, like, out of the corner of my eye, I kind of got the image of a bunch of cars. That's why I was saying, was there, could there have been a vacant building that had a parking garage? Or parking under it. This is the reptilian, but I'm more inclined to see the snake. That was someone lying in wait, waiting on him. Somebody, he was targeted. This was not just something random. He was targeted. That's what this is telling me. And that's why I said, saw a stalker. Manipulation. Wow, that one. I can't make this shit up. And I'm not being my usual self of my I shit you not and stuff. I'm trying to be very sensitive towards this other creator. Assassination. What I'm feeling, I just got to put this out there. I feel like somebody put another person up to this. And they're saying, we're all good. Job is done. He had an enemy. Your cousin had an enemy. Brandon had an enemy. Death hoax. I'm not seeing this as a falsehood. I'm seeing this more as how it may appear that he went off on his own. That's what I'm getting. There's something false around. There will be something false around the circumstances. Unfortunately, I do not feel that Brandon's still with us in the 3D. But there's going to be information that comes out concerning what happened to him that is not going to be factual. It's not going to be truth. It's going to take us sleuths digging into it. If it ever comes to PCA, it's like I'm like almost feeling like not as severe as Brian Koberger, but somebody being blamed for it who wasn't directly involved, but who had knowledge of it. This feels like I'm sorry, I keep going back to the halfway house. Someone in that halfway house knew, but they may get the blame for it, but all that they are guilty of is having knowledge. Okay? Because he's coming through to me and saying, because of he was kind of lured. That's what it's saying. Somebody that that there might be even somebody that he respected, or somebody that he thought he could trust with a little bit of a higher social standing, lured him away. So I'm not even positive if it's somebody that lives in the halfway house. I just felt somebody in the halfway house or associated with it knows. There's somebody with knowledge. And it's going to be really easy to blame another drug addict or recovering drug addict. Could he have robbed somebody associated with the halfway house, not living there? Could he rub somebody the wrong way? I'm just wondering. Or the relative of somebody in the halfway house. But I'm getting multiple connections. It feels like I'm like seeing almost like a spider web type thing. But there's a pattern. It's organized chaos. And it's branching out, which is kind of symbolizing to me and right in the center of the web is the halfway house. Toxic food shortage. Okay, this is like on the cut I saw the Lord energy. He's telling me that it's like he was going to go out to eat something, not go straight to the hotel, and he was going to be meeting somebody there. That's what I'm feeling like. And it couldn't have been anybody at the halfway house. It's definitely somebody on the outside. Frozen. Frozen food, or he was going to get frozen food. Something about food. Top secret. And that's under the assassination. He rubbed somebody in power in the wrong way. And they got a crony to do the dirty work. And other people around that crony knew. But I think they're going to get the wrong crony. I keep feeling that somebody else is going to get blamed. It might have been somebody, because I feel like, from what I understand, there's more than one. Shit. There's more than one person there that was upset with him coming in late at night. Oh my God. I shit you not. This is where I will say I shit you not. I just said somebody in power. That feels untouchable. That kind of ordered this. He rubbed somebody in the wrong way. It's almost like he may not have had drugs in his system, but did he owe somebody money for drugs or something prior to him going into rehab for several months? Yeah, he did. Got trafficking. And it's not people. When I do oracle cards, I do read them intuitively. Sometimes it's just something triggers that has nothing to do with, well, I read them the way I read them. And I feel like that this was somebody in power that he was trafficking drugs for, or he was supposed to deliver substances to somebody, for somebody. Top secret operation. When something stopped, there was an interruption, and it was going out of a food joint. Oh my God. Holy shit. So honey, I hope this gives some clues here. There was trafficking out of a food joint of substances. Okay? And take the word frozen off of this. Look at the white stuff. Powder. Powder. Okay? And you had somebody here that was a total snake that worked or owned this food joint. And the trafficking came out of there. And that person, that snake, is going to lie. Be prepared in the upcoming weeks for maybe a false narrative to be brought out to the public of, well, he went he was going to this food joint because he needed a fix, and he overdid it. You understand? Had a little bit too much. That's going to be the storyline. And whoever this is that's associated with this food joint is also somebody that has a dollar or two in the bank. It is somebody who is connected to power or is a person of power themselves. They look good in the public eye, honorable person, upstanding citizen type person, like it could be your next door neighbor. Never would think that this person was involved in this kind of business. And then, of course, I am hearing, and whether this is Brandon telling me this, but he's kind of saying, how do you think he got that money? This is a hole in the wall. It's not an upscale restaurant. Looking at the restaurant, looking at the food joint, it would not be something that you would expect the owner to have very much. And so it's kind of like the energy of, how do you think he got that kind of money? Through trafficking drugs. It's like this restaurant, this food joint, and it doesn't feel like a chain. It feels like a dive. It feels like a dive. Hole in the wall. A dive. That is a front for what goes on behind the scenes. And it is top secret. I'm seeing dollars. I'm seeing money. It feels like there was something between. Now, Brandon's not being specific enough. It's almost like he doesn't want to say too much, but there was something between him and this person, this owner of this restaurant. That went south. He's telling me he was set up. Brandon is saying he was set up. Because he was meant to go to that toxic food. I'm telling you, it was a dive. Okay, it was a dive. That food joint, because somebody wanted to make things good again, make things right between them and Brandon. Okay, let's bury the hatchet. You're starting over. But I also think they wanted to make sure that Brandon wasn't going to squeal on them and tell on them about their operation. Well, they were making sure he wasn't speaking. So, the halfway house, being in the middle of it, is someone in that halfway house has a direct contact with this person in power as well. The manipulation is coming into play because I think the assassin, the hit guy, is being manipulated by the person in power. And there's others in that halfway house that knew what was going on and what was going down. And somebody associated with that halfway house did the deed. Brandon's not being clear if they were living in the house or if they were just associated with the halfway house. But somebody inside that house could get blamed and they're really innocent. They had knowledge. That's what they were guilty of. Knowledge. But they weren't near the crime scene. They weren't near where Brandon was. And I'm feeling like he was going to go to the hotel, but before he went to the hotel, and this is imperative, I hope you could get phone records. and verify this for me if the police does finally get phone records and text messages. Because it feels like somebody wanted a peace offering. And when he's going to this dive, he gets tower energy. And the snake, he gets there's a sudden attack on him. He didn't even see it coming. Okay. Okay, let's see what else I can get from this. I know that this is a longer video, guys, but you know that's what I'm known for, my tarot movies. Okay. This keeps popping up every time I cut the deck. That is just confirmation. And my deepest condolences to you, Ellie, for your loss. My heart goes out to you and your family. I could not even imagine. But as I said in the opener, this could happen to anybody. Nobody's immune. And I just feel bad. Let's hope you could find him and lay him to rest properly. Okay, let me see what I got here. Emperor. That is somebody, I'm telling you, that is a boss. That's a boss. That is somebody large and in charge. I'm not feeling Brandon's boss. I feel it's associated with this. He's a drug lord. Thank you, Brandon. A drug lord. With Queen of Pentacles. There's a female around as well. Feminine energy. Don't know what that's about, but that can also be, being it's a crossing, it's more like reverse energy, a lack of empathy, a lack of practicality, or not practicality, a lack of, upright, she makes everybody comfortable. This is also about being comfortable in your environment, living a good life, being abundant. Being as a crossing card, this is an obstacle, a challenge. Sometimes it could be a help, but very rare. This is usually some kind of block, challenge, obstacle. And I don't know why, if they viewed him like a... Did he have feminine tendencies? I'm not accusing him of not being heterosexual. I want to use right terminology here. I'm not saying anything like that, but a softer way about him. Because it feels like this emperor was worried about the physical, his environment, the life he built for himself, the life that he nurtured, the garden that he cultured, that he built and grew. It's almost like being in an obstacle form. It's like afraid of losing everything he has. And this is about owing money too. This is a balancing. So this emperor expected Brandon to balance things up with him. trying to strike some kind of deal. Or so the emperor let on that. This feels like, okay, you owe this, but if you come back and work for me, we can work out a deal. Or, okay, I'm willing to forgive your debt, but there's a couple things that I need first. Can we meet at the restaurant and talk about it? I'm still feeling a strong sense that Brandon owed this dude money. Okay. So he was always on edge. I get this paranoid feeling about Brandon. He knew, or he thought that maybe there might have been a target on him, but that night he was not expecting that. He truly thought that the emperor was acting in good faith to try to work and balance things between the two of them. And I said that from the beginning. It feels like a peace offering. Let's make things right here. Let's make things good. Let's get in good standing with each other again. That's what that is. But it was all lies. It was all fake. And that's why Brandon told me he was set up. And he really tried. I could tell you this. He fought back. You know, on that voicemail where he sounded panicked, he was a surprise attack, but he didn't go down without a fight. So whoever did this is going to have defensive wounds on them, because Brandon did try to fight back. And it is over. Completion. He lived his life. He learned the lesson that he was supposed to learn for this lifetime. This is an energy that's passing, so and I'm hearing you will get the answers that you need. But he's going back to the person at the halfway house and saying it's not them. They knew about the plan, but it's not them. Okay? Ace of Cups. This is empathy. This is unconditional love. That's the peace stuff. So all this here is like ending of a conflict with this emperor here that made it sound like that's balanced things out here, and offering him, the cup of love, the cup of the peace. More so, I'm more drawn to the dove up there, which is the peace dove. Peace offering. I've been saying that all along. Offering of peace, harmony, let's start over, let's have a clean slate, yada, 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 bullshit. Okay? Just to lure him in a place that he was attacked, but he fought back. He did fight back. He was walking alone, by the way. I want to say, and sometimes I get intuitive hits that has nothing to do with the card or the traditional meaning of the card. I'm getting a church. A very old church. Yes, with stained glass windows. Maybe you could tell me if there's a church like that. I'm seeing this majestic church, like a dark gray color stone possibly. Big stained glass windows. Very old. Is where he was snagged up. That's his point of disappearance. I don't know if that's close to this restaurant, but it's being pointed out to me. Left. Was he left? Was he left on a church's property? Was there a church that was unlocked? Then maybe he was put into a basement, whether it's at the church or near the church. There's a church involved. This majestic church with these big stained glass windows. It's like a darker, mid to dark gray block brick style, old time block. I hope you know what I mean. It has some really grand architectural carvings in this church or on this church. I've seen these pews that are older. They may have been wooden pews. There's a curly top on the back of the pew. It was like hand carved. And it's big. And is there a red carpet or there's some kind of rug going down the center that divides the two sides of the church, going right all the way down to the pulpit, and it's a long walk. It is a hall. It's a long walk to that altar, to that pulpit. I'm seeing candles, lots of them, near the pulpit. Now, he's showing me this. I don't know if it means that people are praying for him. That might be it. People are lighting all the candles are there because people are lighting candles at this church. If that makes sense. But that's what I'm getting there. He's looking through the glass of the church. The church is significant. Okay. Five of Cups. Yes. Okay. There's a. I don't know if this is future oriented or what. He's showing me a visual at a church. People mourning. But there is a sense of regret here. Which makes sense. People's grieving for him. Mother. He's worried about his mother. He's worried about her and her grief. So, Ellie, if you watch this video, stay close to your aunt. Okay? He's really worried about his mother. When she finally gets the news or confirmation when he is found. Okay? Stick close to her. He wants his mother taken care of. Okay? But there's an outpouring of love, and oh my God. You are going to be receiving, you and your family, an outpouring of love from all over the world. Okay? Everybody's going to want justice for him. We all make mistakes in life. But Brandon seemed to be getting his life on the right track, on the right path. I know that you're hoping for the best possible outcome. But what I'm feeling is you are going to be receiving answers. At the very least, you're looking for those answers, light to be shed on what has happened. 10 of Cups. That's the family. The family coming together. I don't know if there are certain family members that you or your aunt have been at odds with. But there seems to be a union, a joining here because of this. And it's a shame that it takes a tragic event to bring families together. Nine of Swords, Four of Wands. And I shit you not, there's this character again. I understand everybody's worried that he's not going to be coming home and they're fearing the worst. This feels like, for the most part, a very tight, close family. I'm also feeling that there's somebody that may have been odds with one or more family members. But they're going to come back into the fold and be supportive also. I'm just feeling like whoever that outsider is, I'm seeing an outsider. Definitely seeing an outsider somewhere. Somebody that has a family member that has not been in contact or has not been close to the family, maybe had a falling out with another family member, so they kept their distance. They're going to be coming back. There's going to be healing of that situation. But Brandon said, I'm hearing him very clearly. He's very articulate. Okay? He's telling me that he had to leave for this relationship to mend. And that's what saddens Brandon, that it has to take a loss to bring people together. If that makes sense, I hope it does. But Brandon's very talkative. He was very talkative, very informative. So I hope that this reading gives you some places to look. He likes this deck too. This is one of my favorites, and he said, bring it out. I wasn't going to use it. I was just going to leave it there. But a few more messages. Let's see what he's got. Okay, hold on. Hang in there with me. Hang in there. Trinity is 3. 3 people. But the Trinity is also about people coming together. Fence sitter. I'll explain all this in a moment. I shit you not, High Tower. I'll explain what this is, because I know you're not going to know what that is. Well, High Tower is somebody in a place of power. Okay, sitting on the fence watching cronies do their dirty work. That's enough, Brandon. Here's the coffin. This simply reads, there was somebody in a place of power who was just sitting by watching the wheels turn as other people were working together to create the ultimate ending. There's multiple people involved in this. There is somebody in a place of power. And I'm telling you, this is a drug ring. This is a drug ring. There's a fence sitter there in the midst of this all, too. That I'm almost feeling like somebody at the halfway house. But this is somebody who knows, who has information, sitting on the fence waiting to see how things play out before they decide to speak or say anything. Because I'm picking up a level of fear. Somebody's afraid to say something. Let's see, 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. Plus 4 is 21. I get the card working behind the scenes. It's hidden. This is a hidden energy. And this is just my cheat sheet to see which card it would be. Karmic relationship, 21. That's kind of what I thought. Because he came across, remember when I said that he was talking about he learned the lesson he was supposed to learn. But this karmic relationship is not with all these people involved in his disappearance. It's family. There's karma involved with the family, that the way the karma to be fulfilled, things to be repaired, is through him going away. So I hope this makes sense for you. I'm going to leave it there for now, because it feels like a lot of information overload right now to me. I'm sure there could possibly be a revisit to this, but I'm feeling like a name, somebody, I don't know how this resonates. Robert, Roger, something like Robert or Roger, Ronald, some odd name like that. I don't know how that resonates. Maybe it doesn't, but I just heard it. I keep like Roger or Robert. It's closer to that than it is Ronald. But all three names are very close. It's kind of muffled, so I can't tell if it's Roger, Robert, Ronald. I hope that makes sense to you. So, I love you. I certainly hope that you get the answers that you are looking for sooner than later. I know you're going to get answers, but I hope it comes sooner. And I'm going to leave you there. Until next time, love and light.